what we've really come to understand is it's the hand action that actually drives.
If you have good hands, you know what to do with your hands. So much works back into the body, and the golfer they're empowered when they know how to use their hands properly. Gentlemen?
Correctly. Yeah, the routine, just to hammer that point home, I know that Graham and Henry Bolton and Jason Goldsmith, who worked with using the focus band with Jason Day and Justin Rose, 90% of their work was using the focus band to just get them to be in a calm state and get their address routine right. You might have noticed Jason Day, when he was on the top of his game, #1 in the world, they quite often focus the camera on his eyes from behind the ball, and he'd have his eyes flickering. And that was part of his process to get himself focused on the target rather than getting distracted by what's around. So the address routine is a major part. If you can do it consistently from start to finish, not just on the one hole, but every hole, you're going to build a lot more consistent golf game. And the other thing is, with a good address routine, while it takes quite a lot of conscious effort to learn it, the more you drill it, the more automatic it becomes, and then you can learn to play golf in a more autonomous way, so you can play golf out of your mind. Your address routine is your entrance point to stopping talking and worrying about what's around you, to actually playing your shot. And it has a start, a change, and a stop. And when you're out of it, you can go on and talk with your friends. But your address routine is your own special place that will allow you to get in the zone to make the best shot you can. So, do you want to go through and show an?
Yeah, Peter, let me hit a shot. Let me hit a shot, and you can watch my routine. I've got a 6-iron. I've got 185 yards. It's no wind. Okay, I've chosen my club. I'm ready to go. I always like to stand behind my golf ball and sight my target line. Now watch my routine as I walk in. I take a look at my target. I aim the loft, put my sweet spot behind the golf ball. It's not resting on the ground. And from there, I'm going to set my lead foot for ball location, drop my trail foot back for stance width. And I have my waggle. My waggle is critical. I take one more look, handle first, club head last, and send it. And then I always try to do my little club head spin right there. So I carried that ball 170, so a little bit short, but it was a nice strike down my target line. So that is my routine every single time I hit a shot. And it's from the moment I take a step, that's when I stop talking about hockey or jokes or politics or anything. That's the only time that I really kind of am very, very involved in the couple of seconds it takes to play great golf and those cumulative seconds that make up a great round.
Very good. Yeah, I think basically there are a couple of main points in the address routine that we all should embrace. Number one is, if I'm hitting a golf ball towards the camera, no good just walking to the side. The first place you should always start is behind the ball, a couple of yards back. Put the ball in the middle between you and your target. Just feel grounded and take 1 or 2 deep breaths. Look at the ball, look up at the target, and ask yourself the question, what would a good shot look like? So you just kind of now you get engaged with what I want to do here. So if you can just get yourself, you mightn't visualize it, but you just say, well, I want it to go up there in the air and whatever. But you get that idea of, you make a kind of a plan of what you're going to do. So then when you walk to the side, I think it's so important. If you've got a little intermediate target here that you can aim that club face at. So when you take that grip, the club face is organized to the ball's target. And it's always, I think, very valuable. I'll move over now a bit. So it's always, to me, very valuable that you start with the club opposite the center of your hips. You don't want it up here too far away from you. And if you put it in the middle, when you move off center, you'll get the engagement of your hips will work together with your hands. So now if I balance, a lot of people just come in here and do this, but I like to see people start in balance on their trail foot and have their arms all set, and then watch the club and just bend from the hip and unlock your knee. You'll get a consistent posture. You get a consistent angle between arm and shaft and arm and body. And whether you're using a wedge or a driver, if you have that little routine of getting balanced over the ball in good posture, it makes it so much easier then to make that swing a rotary swing and to stay in balance. Okay. So any more to add to that, Martin, or do you think that's...
No, I think it's great. I think that a lot of people will, George Newton, when I was a kid, we would strike shots, and a big thing is, can we relax? And you see that club twirl right there. Well, tomorrow I start a golf school. No, Wednesday I start a golf school in Phoenix with a bunch of students. You know how we're going to start? We're going to start by learning how to do this. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I tell you what, a lot of great shots end up like this. And so for most people, they never really learn how to let the club work around them, exhaust themselves in a finish, relax into their lead foot up in their trail toe, and spin the club and let their arms swing. And when you watch a really nice player who's hit a great shot, that's almost always the exclamation point of a great shot. So sometimes starting with the end in mind is a way to get to where you want to go. So I've never done this before. I've talked about and I've worked on finish for 35 years coaching golf, but this is how I'm going to start. Simply doing this. Everybody's learned how to spin the club and grab it before it wraps their knuckles, because every shot I hit that's really, really pleasing, my finishing form looks something like this. And it's a great shot. I'm in balance. The ball is going where I want it to go. Shots, not so much. I'm a little bit out of balance. Maybe my hands come off the club. So you have to train and anticipate the goodness rather than expect something that is unsavory. So, we're going to train that in, Peter.
Magic. I love it. Got to look like a tour pro that's hit a great shot to the 18th green. And the other one thing I'd like to add to that, Martin, you should smile as well. You got to smile when you do that.
That's right.
It's a lot of fun.
Smile.
Right.
Perfect.
Okay, we have a couple of questions from our audience here. So it's from Paul Maloney. Does a slower swing speed need less forward lean than faster speed to get more height? And how much is enough?
So on that note, if you have, there is some valid data that shows that, an angle of attack for slower swing speeds should be a little bit more level. But here's what I'd say to you. And so obviously, less angle of attack would be a mild reduction in shaft lean. That said, you need to be careful, because to launch the ball very effectively, you're kind of riding the fence a bit, because if you don't have forward shaft lean, you may be hitting a little bit too much of the grass behind the golf ball. You need a subtle descending attack, and it's not much. 4 degrees, 5 degrees is plenty, but you need to be able to avoid the material behind the golf ball. To do that, we need some shaft lean. Now, do we want to have excessive shaft lean when you have a slow swing speed? 7, 8, 9 degrees, a handle way ahead? No, because you're not strong enough. Your swing speed's not high enough to make the ball respond and be sort of functional. I taught a tour player years ago. He's still on tour. Nick Taylor, he's a nice player. He just finished 20th in Riviera. He's won twice. The first lesson I gave him in 2012 was that he had too much shaft lean, believe it or not. He launched the ball too low for his swing speed. So we worked on getting the golf ball, the flight up. He tended to be a little bit too narrow. He didn't have enough width. He didn't have enough push. And once he learned how to push and rotate, guess what? The ball went higher. The numbers that we measure with, like a Foresight or a TrackMan, they were more in line with what the best players in the world do. So there is a relationship with speed and shaft lean, but you still need some, even if you're slow, because you don't want to risk touching the ground before you touch the ball.
What we've really come to understand is it's the hand action that actually drives.
If you have good hands, you know what to do with your hands. So much works back into the body, and the golfer they're empowered when they know how to use their hands properly. Gentlemen, great to be with you. Peter, it's a pleasure, pal. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks Chris, thanks Martin, and it will be great to be here. Just a little mention there, Martin has probably the #1 golf school in Arizona. There are a lot of golf schools there, but you've been rated #1, so that's nice to be in your school today. Okay.
Well, that's where we're sending my studio here. This is where I subject all my students to some coaching from the range outside and then in here. But, I'm really excited to get down to the brass tacks of having great hands in golf.